Before the injuries, before the what-ifs, there was magic. Real, undeniable magic. Anthony "Penny" Hardaway wasn't just supposed to be great. He was supposed to redefine greatness. A 6'7" point guard with the court vision of Magic Johnson and the wingspan of a center, he was a new breed of player, ahead of his time. He was the future. But fate, as it so often does, had other plans. Born July 18, 1971 in a tough Memphis neighborhood, Penny was raised by his grandmother Louise, while his mother moved to Oakland for work. Louise didn't just raise him, she shielded him from the streets, handed him his first basketball, and unknowingly gave him his iconic nickname. She called him Pretty, but her southern drawl made it sound like Penny. And just like that, a legend was born. From the moment that ball hit the concrete, Penny never let it go. By high school, he had transformed himself into an unstoppable force. At 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan, he glided past defenders, rose above them, and dismantled them. In his senior year, he averaged an unreal 36 points, 10 rebounds, and filled every stat sheet column like it was second nature. But despite the buzz, college wouldn't come easy. Penny committed to Memphis State to stay close to his grandmother, but his low ACT scores made him ineligible to play under NCAA rules. For a year, he could only participate in intramural games, but those meaningless games became legends. Penny's academic comeback was just as impressive. He pulled a 3.4 GPA and earned his eligibility. Then, just as the story was taking flight, everything nearly came to a crashing end. Walking home from a pickup game, Penny was shot in the foot during a robbery. A bullet shattered bones in his right foot, and for a few terrifying moments, he thought he'd lose everything. But he survived. And not only did he recover, he came back stronger. When he finally stepped onto the court for Memphis, it was as if the game slowed down for him. He averaged 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in his first year. By his junior season, he had evolved into a college basketball phenom. 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. He was a hybrid between Magic Johnson and Scottie Pippen, handling the ball like a guard, defending like a forward, and scoring with flair and grace. But this was before social media, before YouTube mixtapes. Back then, legends traveled by word of mouth, and not every NBA star had heard the name Penny Hardaway. One of them was Shaquille O'Neal. After a dominant rookie season, Shaq was cast in the basketball film Blue Chips and met Penny on set. Shaq thought he was just another actor. That is, until he saw Penny play. From that moment, Shaq was sold. He told Orlando's front office, "Draft Penny, or I'm gone," despite initially selecting Chris Webber with the number. One pick in the 1993 draft, Orlando quickly traded him to Golden State for Penny and 3 future first-round picks. Shaq got his wish, and so did the fans, because when Penny and Shaq hit the hardwood, it was electric. The Orlando Magic weren't just good, they were exhilarating. Shaq was the unstoppable force, Penny was the elegant conductor. In just their first year together, the Magic won 50 games and made the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. In year 2, they added veteran power with Horace Grant and Brian Shaw. The result? A 57-win season, the best offense in the league, and a playoff run that captured imaginations. In the Eastern Conference semifinals, Penny and Shaq went toe-to-toe with a newly returned Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, and won, thanks in part to the infamous steal by Nick Anderson on Jordan. They shattered Jordan's aura and took the series in 6 games. Penny averaged 20 points, 7 assists, and shot 53% from the field. He was fearless, poised, and surgical. After they defeated the Bulls, Orlando faced their nemesis, the Indiana Pacers, who had given them a painful lesson in the 1994 playoffs. But this time, Orlando was ready. They finally cracked the Pacers in 7 games, behind stellar performances from Shaq and Penny, who averaged 20 points, 7 assists, and 2.5 steals, shooting a phenomenal 53% from the field and 47% from three. The Magic advanced to the NBA Finals against the defending champion Houston Rockets and their powerhouse center, Hakeem Olajuwon. While the battle between Shaq and Hakeem was the main event, it was the role players who defined Game 1. With 10 seconds left, Orlando was up by 3 and had the ball. After a foul on Nick Anderson, he missed both free throws. He managed to get the rebound and was fouled again, but missed 2 more. If he had made just 1, the game would have been over. But with 2 seconds left, Kenny Smith hit a three-pointer to tie the game and send it to overtime, where Houston stole the win on the road. That loss zapped Orlando's energy, and the veteran Rockets took full advantage. Penny, though, was brilliant. He averaged 25 points and 8 assists, shooting over 50% from the floor. By 1996, Penny was more than just a rising star. He was the guy. Nike launched the wildly successful Lil Penny campaign, voiced by Chris Rock, and his popularity soared. That season, he was the only player in the league to average over 20 points and 5 assists while shooting 50%. He made his 3rd All-Star appearance and finished top 5 in MVP voting. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Shaq, growing frustrated with media narratives favoring Penny, began to question his future in Orlando. A local poll labeling him too greedy during contract talks was the final straw. That summer, Shaq signed with the Lakers, and the dream duo was over. Suddenly, the Magic were Penny's team. He took the challenge head-on. In the 1997 playoffs, despite battling injuries and carrying a depleted roster, Penny put on a masterclass, averaging 31 points per game against the Miami Heat. He scored or assisted on over half of Orlando's offense. At 26, he was poised to take the mantle from Jordan as the next face of the league. But then, the injuries came. In 1998, he suffered his first major knee injury. He played just 19 games. Though fans still voted him into the All-Star game, critics questioned his return. Still, he pushed through. In the lockout-shortened 1999 season, he played all 50 games, leading Orlando in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. The Magic lost in the first round, but Penny, once again, elevated his game in the playoffs. It didn't matter. His body was failing him. He was traded to Phoenix to pair with Jason Kidd in a backcourt dubbed Backcourt 2000. But chemistry issues, more injuries, and an evolving league made it short-lived. His stats faded. His explosiveness dulled. By the early 2000s, Penny was a role player, fighting through surgeries, trades, and time itself. After stints with the Knicks and a short-lived comeback with the Miami Heat, Penny Hardaway called it a career. 5 surgeries on his left knee, years of pain and rehab, a legacy left unfulfilled. But numbers don't tell the whole story. From 1994 to 2000, in the prime that the game allowed him, Penny averaged over 21 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals in the playoffs. He was a 6'7" point guard who moved like water, fluid, precise, unstoppable. He was elegance in motion, a vision of what basketball could become. And then he was gone. Penny Hardaway wasn't just a talent. He was a moment, a what-if carved into the history of the NBA. For those who saw him in his prime, he was unforgettable, and for the rest of us, he remains the greatest that never was. But the story doesn't end there. After the NBA, Penny returned to his roots, not as a player, but as a mentor. He began coaching at Leicester Middle School in Memphis, giving back to the same community that once raised him. What started as a gesture of love quickly grew into a second act of legacy. In 2018, Penny Hardaway was named the head coach of the University of Memphis men's basketball team, his alma mater. The boy who once lit up the city's courts was now its leader, guiding a new generation of athletes with the same passion, discipline, and resilience that shaped his own journey. Under his leadership, Memphis became a recruiting powerhouse, landing top-ranked players and restoring the program's national relevance. Off the court, Penny has invested in business and real estate and remains active in charitable work throughout Memphis. He's a father, a coach, and a symbol of redemption, not just for what he did, but for how he refused to let his story be defined by what he lost. Penny Hardaway didn't vanish after the lights dimmed. He evolved. And in doing so, he found a different kind of greatness, one rooted not in stats, but in impact. Because sometimes the brightest stars don't just shine. They give others permission to rise. Today, he's remembered not just for what he did, but for what he could have been. In the same breath as Derrick Rose, Penny Hardaway is one of the NBA's most heartbreaking what-ifs. But to those who saw him at his peak, he was more than a possibility. He was Penny, the player who made you believe in magic.